You're watching Coast Life, and we know that losing a family member is never an easy thing to deal with, but luckily there are people that can help ease some of the paperwork that's involved in that process, which you don't even think of being part of the process, but it is. And so the people that think of it all are our friends at Procino-Wells in Woodland. Amber Woodland joining us. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So first, tell us a little bit about, I know you had a special relationship with your great-grandmother, right?
Yes.
A lot of people aren't they don't get that opportunity to know their great-grandparents, but that's been a huge anchor and inspiration for you in your life.
For sure. I think my experience is unique, and I consider it a privilege that I was 18 when my great-grandmother passed away. So I have super fond memories of her. I could rattle off all kinds of details about her and my time with her when I was a child. And I was a freshman in college in Florida when she passed away. And I remember just feeling full of emotion, of course. It was the true, real loss that I had experienced in my life. And I was 12 hours away from home, and I just wanted to be with my family. And at that time, I wasn't a lawyer yet. I didn't have the experience I have today. It was all new. But I think now, looking back on that, death is part of life.
Yeah.
And I think that the most important part of that process is being with the people that you love and being supported by those around you that mean the most and sharing memories of the person that you lost. But then there is a legal technical side to that I do in my career now that I think is largely related to the experience that I had as a child with my grandmother.
For sure. And I think that special connection and those special memories that you had with your great-grandmother is just part of the picture that you guys always put care and love at the forefront of everything that you do when we are dealing with clients and their families. But you mentioned that there's a big legal process that people aren't really prepared for a lot of the time when it comes to that part of life. So let's talk, even probate, that's a term that I'm like, okay, I see this here, but what does that mean?
What does that mean? Yeah, a lot of people think, oh, if I have a will, it's going to be easy when I pass away. And I think that it's a goal of a lot of people to make things as easy as possible on their loved ones when that time comes. And what they don't realize is even with a will, probate is required. And so probate's this kind of coined term, but what does it really mean? Probate's a legal process with the local Register of Wills office that is typically a year-long, paperwork-driven, very public and very expensive process. And it's hard to be faced with those tasks when you're otherwise grieving someone you love. And you don't want to put your time, energy, and attention into this big, long, tedious, time-consuming public to-do list. You want to be focusing on a lot of other things. And sometimes when you've got all of those emotions and you have this process that has to be gone through, it just heightens all of it. So, of course, there's planning that can be done to try to avoid probate and to successfully avoid probate. But really the point of our conversation today is more so to just focus on the fact that we can help families get through the probate process. And hiring a professional to help them with that process can really ease that burden during an otherwise really emotional time.
Well, it allows somebody to grieve during that time.
And having someone who's navigated the process, I have a whole team of people that help me navigate that process for my clients. It really eases that uncertainty of what does the process look like? What should I expect? We can communicate with the beneficiaries on behalf of the executor or the administrator. So there are a lot of perks to having assistance when you're serving in that role of administering a loved one's affairs.
This is speaking to a lot of people and they just want to know, maybe they need your services now or they want to make sure they know where to go in the future. What's the best way to get in touch?
So we have so many resources online that are free. So I would recommend that anyone interested in just learning more about us, visit our website. pwwlaw.com. We have free podcast episodes, free blog posts, free articles. We offer free community workshops that are always listed. It's an opportunity for someone in the public to meet us, get to know us, understand that we take a really practical approach to practicing law and we're just normal people. And from there, of course, call our office. My team is incredible and they will help guide any potential client through our process.
And Amber, before we let you go, where are those offices located just so that people know their options and where they can come see you?
Of course. So we have an office in Seaford and in Lewis, Delaware, and we serve all of the state. So especially after the pandemic, we've been offering virtual appointments. So we really can serve anyone from anywhere. In terms of estate administration, we are only serving families who have passed away, a resident of the state of Delaware, or who are currently residents of the state of Delaware. But in these cases, a lot of times the personal representative lives out of state. And so it's helpful to have a team like ours, this boots on the ground here in Delaware, with physical office locations and good contacts and community resources to help families through that process.
Awesome. Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in and telling us about just all the resources that you offer. And again, I think it's always a good reminder for people to hear just how personally connected you guys are with your work and your clients.
Thank
It's
you.
just reassuring, again, in those sort of heavy, dark times that really are just a part of life.
Right.
But thank you again for coming in. We do have some more CoastLife to get to, though, so stick around. You're not going to want to miss it.
This segment of CoastLife was brought to you by Procino-Wells Woodland Law.